This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching with today's video on a free motion quilting resource set. There's a 5.5 inch square block patterns that I've tried and practiced. The collection is made up of samples from books and online sources and other resources. And when I finally got done, I decided this looked like the good, the bad, and the ugly, because sometimes you do a really pretty picture on a paper, and when you try to put it on the fabric, it doesn't look so good. And that also works the other way. You can have something that looks ugly on paper and looks great on the fabric. But whatever you choose, and whenever you choose your pattern or motif, choose a thread color to audition on the sample of the fabric that you're going to use, and include some batting so you really get an idea of how it's going to look. When I was finished, it seemed that I could divide the different motifs patterns into three groups: free motion quilting using the ruler foot, and using reference lines and stitching lines, and the third one was to trace or draw and then stitch. This video is going to take you back to the silent movie time. The first group is free motion quilting.